Good morning. We're talking defense today, guys. We're talking the holes that still need to be filled. And also, there's a comment out there from a former NFL Steelers linebacker, kind of giving some encouraging talk, so to speak, when it comes to a current linebacker on the team. Also, there's a familiar face at training camp. We'll get into that and much, much more. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers. Welcome to the Huddle. So there's a few surprise cuts that came out this past week, so to speak, and one of them no larger than Genard Avery, the guy who was the front runner for being the third outside linebacker, the guy who's anticipated to replace TJ Watt and or Alex Highsmith whenever they were requiring a breather and or needed a break. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, and it's not been yet disclosed, outside of other than Mike Tomlin saying, cuts needed to be made, he was cut. Now, in my opinion, the depth at the outside linebacker position has been one that's extremely concerning to me. Outside of TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, it's now Derek Tuska, who, not taking anything away from him or anything like that, or trying to disrespect his game. It's just there is a significant step between the two guys at the top and then Derek Tuska. A bunch of the other guys that are there are guys that most of us probably have never heard of before. There's Hamilcar Rashad. We got Delonte Scott. He's wearing number 50, so that tells you something about whether or not he's going to make the team. If he does, I doubt he's wearing 50 on the on the field. And then there's the recently acquired James Vaughters. Like, I don't know who any of these people are, to be honest with you. And, not saying that nobody can, not a player can come up from the woodwork or cannot become the next James Harrison or whatever. But the likelihood of one of these guys promoting up to that level is kind of low. Plus, these aren't guys like, for instance, James. He's been in the NFL, in and out of the NFL for years. He's been a journey guy. It's just kind of like there's a big hole there, and I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers have filled it yet. And it's concerning. I think that when you look back at last year, Derek Tuska played like 24% of the defensive snaps when he was available or on the team. And so was Taku Carlton. I think his snaps were actually higher than, I think he had somewhere around 28% of the defensive snaps when he was on the team. And so, the outside linebacker position, that third rotating piece or even that fourth guy, they get a lot of time. TJ Watt takes a lot of time off. And I'm extremely concerned when it comes to the depth here. I'm hoping that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make some kind of splash move come maybe once teams drop down to the 53 and maybe sign somebody or pick somebody up on waivers that they're anticipating maybe not making the team. Maybe do something similar to like the whole Joe Hayden situation and how the Steelers acquired him. But for the outside linebacker position, because it is a huge concern, very huge concern. Now, one part that, or one other position, in my opinion, that's been under question and scrutiny when it comes to the defense is the middle linebacker position, and none other than what somebody who would know a lot about the middle linebacker position was Vince Williams. Had some encouraging remarks or a tweet about current inside linebacker Mark Robinson, stating that Mark Robinson is better than I was as a rookie. I hope he keeps number 93. And that's a tweet from Vince Williams. Hope he's doing well. We miss you, Vince, if you're watching. Ever consider coming back? There's an opening in the middle linebacker position for you, I guarantee you. But for for Vince Williams to have such an encouraging remarks or words or a tweet towards Mark Robinson and knowing what Vince Williams became is extremely encouraging. I also like where Mark Robinson is going. In this first game, he made major impact. One thing that Mike Tomlin likes is doing is performing during situational football, but also performing during like high stakes time when things count, and him making a splash play such as the strip sack on Drew Lock to give Kenny Pickett the opportunity to make the game driving touchdown against the Seattle Seahawks in the first game of preseason. And then also, when it came down to the interception that Justin Lane had, if you look, Mark Robinson is blitzing on that play, applying pressure. It's not just him. There's another defensive player in there as well. But, he's in on both plays that created the game-winning drive. That is something that you can't coach. You can't coach, the clutchness of a player and whatnot. And he's showing that tenacity and that ability at this stage, and potentially could be the real steal of the draft. I know a lot of people are very upset with the other 7th rounder that was cut in Chris Oladokun. However, I think that Chris Oladokun was more of a camp arm / well, not just that, but maybe just to kind of increase the opportunity there in the quarterback room. But after the Pittsburgh Steelers have seen how the first 3 quarterbacks have performed to this par, I think that they're thrilled and pleased with the quarterback room with the 3 that they have. Now, what this also might lead to, me at least, is to think that potentially Mason Rudolph is going to stay on the team. I don't think that the Steelers are going to go in with only 2 quarterbacks. I don't think that if the Steelers were going to keep Chris Oladokun and try to stash him on the practice squad, that he would be getting cut at this point. I think him getting cut at this point is to give him an opportunity with another team. And so I think the Steelers are going to go in with 3 quarterbacks this season, seeing what they have done. I don't anticipate them trading or cutting Mason Rudolph. He's going to be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 2022 season. And especially when you've seen the offensive line, they're getting to get whoever starts at quarterback killed if they don't get things turned around fast. But I digress. But when it comes to Mark Robinson, there was also that other play that he had where he had that huge hit on the, I think it was a receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he hit the guy and knocked him back like 4 yards. It was insane how much power this man has. I'm excited about him. I'm excited about what he could potentially bring, given his opportunity. It was reported earlier this week that Devin Bush was out of practice and that Mark Robinson was getting the start over Buddy Johnson, over Allen, over all the other linebackers in the room, and was starting next to Miles Jack. And so kudos to him. It's, he could be that diamond in the rough, so to speak, and a steal of the draft that the Pittsburgh Steelers have found. I'm liking that. So, and for the last thing that I kind of want to talk to you guys today about was there was a familiar face yesterday at practice. The one, the only Ben Roethlisberger was back at the UPMC Sports Arena Complex, having a good time with players. I'll show you some pictures that I've been able to find about Ben Roethlisberger's trip. And, I like to see this. The last time that we saw Ben Roethlisberger, he was having some controversial comments on the fan, and there was a little bit of back and forth, so to speak, between himself and Cam Hayward. It's a positive thing. He is now a former Steelers player. He's one of the alumni, and as some other players that have done in the past, whether it's Franco Harris, Lynn Swann, Charlie Batch, Max Start, you've seen Mel Blount, you've seen some of the former players go to training camp, go to the practice, and just kind of be around the players, kind of talk and share some wisdom of what they know from the game. And it's good to see Ben Roethlisberger in this light. It's a good thing to me, and it's good to have that presence. And it says that there's no bad blood there. You know, it puts that to bed. Good for Ben, good for the city, good for the team. With that being said, guys, that's all I have for you all. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to be giving away a couple of t-shirts here in the next couple of weeks. To a lucky subscriber, you don't want to miss it. It's going to have it's going to be a yellow t-shirt. It's going to have the State of the Steelers emblem across the chest here. And don't forget, guys, this Saturday I'll be doing a podcast, my weekly State of the Steelers podcast for Behind the Steel Curtain. You can find them Behind the Steel Curtain wherever you find podcasts, whether it's Apple, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the whole 9 yards. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers. Peace.